Hello YouTubers. Welcome to my channel. My name is Foote-Bey. And basically, I just want to discuss my life journey in hopes that whatever knowledge or information flows through me and experiences, someone may hear something that it may help them in their life's journey. We're beautiful souls, and some of us go through life without really understanding what life really is, and just dealing with the reality of it. Trying to understand our environment, and the influences they have on our thinking and our subconscious and our family structure and our relationships, and how to have a relationship, how to choose a relationship, how to be healthy and live well, and create the life that you want, because you can create the life that you want. It's all up to you. Our minds have been programmed in a way that we believe that if it's that way for them, then it has to be that way for us. For example, take an environment, for example. Let's just say, you live in the country somewhere. And I'm talking about where you miles of roads, not many stores. It might be 10 miles to the next store, 10 miles to the next gas station. You know what I mean? That environment is going to influence how they think. You know how they say, "Oh, you country, you slow." Well, they don't live in an environment with the same influences. It's not that they're slow, they just haven't been exposed to the same type of lifestyle, so they're able to think about other things. If you live on a farm, you think about farming. You know what I mean? If you live in a place where there's a lot of machinery and factories, where you have that influence. If you live in a community where they're fishermen, well, you have that influence. All these things influence how you think and how you view life, and what you believe that you can have in life as well. For example, I remember, a lot of my family members here, country in Virginia, farmers, they wanted to get away from that and move to the city because that wasn't the life that they wanted. And now, we look at life now and we see how very necessary it is that you know how to grow your own food. How important is that? How important is it that in times now where people are losing their jobs and are off work, and they have to think about, well, how am I going to sustain myself? If you think about it, this pandemic has been going on for a few years now, a couple years now, or however long. It's been a long time. But in that period of time, how much of your own food could you have grown? How much could you have raised? Whether it be chickens or whatever you can sustain. It doesn't take much to grow a plant and grow tomatoes or grow beans or grow collard greens or grow melons. It doesn't take much. It may not yield as much as you may want it to yield, depending on the space that you have, but it will yield. You know what I mean? It will yield. So you think about, hey, you know what? I just grew in a very small space enough collard greens to have a meal for, let's say, 2 or 3 days. And then coming behind that, where I got some potatoes, I got some melons, I got some squash, I got, whatever it is, agriculture, you know what I mean, that you can feed your family with, Instead, we're saying, well, Dad, I got to get to the grocery store, and I can't afford to go buy groceries. But then when you go outside your door and you look around, how many trees do you see? How much grass do you see? How many plants do you see? Just growing right there in the environment. They're growing on their own. They're growing on their own. They have what they need. They have the sun. They have water. They have soil. You know what I mean? And space to grow. So, these are just some of the things, whatever comes to mind. Relationships, how to have a healthy relationship. You may not have learned how to have a relationship where you learned how to have a relationship, but you haven't learned how to have a healthy relationship. Because if you think about it, a lot of our relationships mimic the relationships that we've seen. The saying is, if you want to know how he's going to treat you, look at the relationship between the son and the mother, and vice versa. These things are true. They're sayings, but they have a lot of truth in them, because that's where you learned. That was these were your first relationships. And seeing your mom and your dad have a relationship, so you take that relationship into, you take what you learned into your relationship, not that you even know to understand it, but you have a right to choose. You're the one who decides the type of relationship that you have. You are, let's just say mom and dad, they don't communicate well. Well, you come up and you don't communicate well. But you can change that. You know what? I want to communicate with my partner. So I'm going to find out what it is that is stopping me from being a good communicator, because I want to be able to speak with my partner and communicate effectively and be understood. It just eliminates a lot of problems where it's not going to be a situation where, why you didn't say that? I mean, all this time you never said that, or you didn't say this, or you never said anything, you didn't that, or this, that. You know what I mean? That's your partner. You should be able to go to them and say whatever it is that you need to say. Period. You shouldn't feel held back by that. You should be able to go say, hey, listen, I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. You know what I mean? And at the same time, be heard. You know what I mean? Have their attention to where, okay, let me sit and listen to my partner, because I want to know what's on my partner's mind. Doesn't mean they have to feel the same way. But, I want you to be able to communicate with me, and I want to be able to communicate with you, so that we're always on the same page. And if we're not on the same page, we're at least in the same chapter. We're not that far apart. You know, um, it's very important. Um, Also, healing from situations that happened in the past that may have left you feeling insecure, lack of trust, lack of faith, lack of surety, confidence. All these things, all these thoughts and behaviors can change. You know, um, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because once again, you're the one who decides, not someone else that comes in and say, "Hey, this is you, this is you." But guess what? Tomorrow you may not want to be that way. Today I'm going to take the time and open my mind and listen and take it in. And just try to grow. So that's basically my channel. But what I should have did was, when I woke up, something said, "Go make a video." But I went through my day. I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to go work on my motorcycle, I want to get out and get in the air, you know what I mean? But I couldn't avoid it because it just kept coming at me. It's just something that I feel as though I have to do. I feel strongly that by doing this, I am being a service to humanity. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. You have to be of service. You know what I mean? And being of service is just, whatever you're called to do, or whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? You have no idea the influence it may have on others. I talked to my Brother's Day and to Mom's Happy Mother's Day. I talked to my brother today, and he said, I was around some of the guys we grew up with, and they was talking about you. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you something. The funny thing is that we're talking over 30 years, and I have no idea who he was talking about, but they remember me. You know what I mean? And it's like, memory and times. Listen, I don't remember them, but they remember me. And I left an impression on them. And they sat around and laughed and joked and, talked about, different things growing up. But you never know the influence that you have on the people that you come in contact with. That's a part of life as well. Just imagine the influence that you may have on the person you may have helped on the side of the road, or the person you may have helped do their homework, or the person you play football or baseball or sports with, or went to class with, or went to the prom with, or who you just don't know. You just don't know the impression that you may leave on the individual and the effect you might have on their life. You just don't know. And it felt really wonderful to hear that. They had good things to say, some not okay things to say, but they had things to say, and it was overall a wonderful and pleasant experience, man. And it was just a wonderful feeling. It was a wonderful feeling. It was a wonderful feeling. To just realize that, listen, people think about you when they think about you. Maybe not when you think about them, or you just don't know. come across somebody and say, hey, man, I remember you. I went to school with you. I remember when you was running through the hall trying to skip class, or I remember that you was always late to class, or I remember you would never say nothing in class, and you always used to get you got really good grades, and you sit back there and you play dumb like you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? And then next thing I know, you got your report card, man. You got an A. It's like, yo, man, how did you get an A? How did you get an A? How did you get a B? You know what I mean? It's funny. Anyway, our life journey is, man, we just want to be at peace and harmony and, just be at joy and smile. I mean, there's going to be ups and downs, but there's nothing that we can't overcome. Nothing we can't achieve, nothing you can't be, nothing you can't do. You just got to believe it, and you have to learn how to access it and get around this programming. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. You know what I mean? It's bad. You know what I mean? The type of conditioning that humanity endures, and it takes us away from who we truly are. And once you get to really, really know yourself and know your power and your strength and your abilities, and everyone can have a wonderful life. No one has to suffer. No one has to hurt, the way no one has to. You know what I mean? No one has to. No one has to. If you can come from an environment where, oh man, everything is so peaceful, we all love one another and we all help one another and we all chip in and make sure our community is okay and our environment is safe and everything is just wonderful. If you can have it in one place, you can have it everywhere. No one has to be lacking anything. No one shouldn't have to struggle for anything when everything is around you. No one just shouldn't. So once again, that's my sorry, I've been up all night. So this is my channel, and I'm just going to speak my truth, man, and speak from the heart, and hopefully I can help someone in their life's journey. Have a good day, be blessed, stay well.